Alrighty, y'all. Alrighty, y'all. Alright. Welcome back. One moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Aiden's game. I'm Aiden the Dev, and I have a green screen now. So we're pretty fancy. We also have a mic. You see that? We got a mic too. So we're getting fancy up in this mug, right? But today's devlog, there hasn't been a devlog in a while, so I was like, hey, let's make another one. Let's come back strong and make another one because the progress and the work on the game has yet to cease. So today we're going to be going over a variety of the new features that I've added, and we'll be exploring the wasteland a little bit to sort of get a feel for what the game is going to feel like. Right? So first off, I don't know how I'm gonna do this in editing, but I'm gonna be there. Oh fuck. I'm gonna be there in the game, right? As you can see, it's big, right? There's a lot of game here. There's a lot of world here. But what you guys get, because you don't get all that, you can't have that as mine. I made it. It's not for you yet, right? What you guys will get is the motherfucking demo scene. And what's going to be in this demo scene is like a little brief, compacted version, a little area that I can refine and polish a little bit to give a more accurate game feel as to what the full game might feel like, right? But anyways, like I was saying, in this free demo that's going to be releasing up here real soon on Steam, which again, like I said, is free. You can just go download it, right? Is going to contain a small segment of the desert, right? Not the full desert, but one of the 9 tiles of the desert, right? The full game, of course, will release for a whopping $5, and you'll get access to the rest of the development cycle of the game, which is going to be until I die. Anyways, anyways, full in the full version of the game, there's going to be much more desert. There's going to be some surrounding other areas, which I'll talk about in some of these future devlog videos here. But as you can see, I hope as you can see, this is this is what you guys get for now for free, right? Um, and so I'm gonna go over some of the features of the And so I'm gonna go over some of the features that we have implemented here into the game, some of the new stuff, some of the old stuff, because a lot of the stuff that I think people would actually care about is shit that I've done way long ago. So like, we'll go over that sort of stuff as well, and like we'll just give you like a general rundown of the game, you know what I'm saying, right? In addition to the new features that I've added so far, so that way, you can get a good feel, a good understanding for what this sort of thing might feel like to play, right? In the instance that you don't want to download the free demo that I've provided you because you're fucking lazy or whatever, right? You everyone's got their excuses. That's fine. I get it, man. I understand. Don't like I do the same. I get it. Fucking beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty. So as you can see, right here is one of our zombie enemies, right? And this dude has a couple of different varieties. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, four. I think there's like four different varieties of zombie, right? And there's probably gonna be more in the future, right? Um, and this zombie enemy is gonna be like the super basic rudimentary zombie, but they're actually pretty fun to fight. I've been sitting playing around with that, sort of feeling out the combat, trying to gauge if it's actually fun, because this is an FPS where combat is I guess unique compared to other FPSs, right? Like, and the biggest thing that you're gonna notice is the fact that your gun doesn't actually like stick to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, your gun is a physical object within the world. If you want to use it, you have to actually sit there, aim, and then shoot and hope to hit. You know what I'm saying? Right? A lot of games will just lock that shit to the center of your screen, give you a little crosshair, and be like, "Yeah, you're so good at aiming. You can click on stuff." No, I want it to be a little bit challenging. I want it to feel like you're actually holding a weapon within the game world, right? And so because of that, the gun moves smoothly to this certain point on your screen, which you're able to control by pressing right mouse button. This is just sort of like aiming, you know what I'm saying, like aiming down the sights or whatever. Um, and so yeah, but if you were to aim down these sights and you were to shoot at one of my fellas here, you'd see his head, and you hit his head, of course, right? Assuming you hit his head, you see a nice little fancy little pop, a little bit of blood spurting out in every single different direction. Because I felt like that was a pretty good visual indicator to the idea that you had shot someone in the head, and yeah, right. But anyways, our zombies here, right? They're unique, they're actually super duper basic, and they sort of are kind of dumb. They just like go directly to where you are. So ironically, this can lead to both like super intuitive behaviors in which you're like, oh shit, that's kind of realistic feeling, and other behaviors where you're like, is they're fucking retarded. Um, One of those realistic behaviors is their ability to sort of like stack on top of each other, kind of like if you've ever seen World War Z. Yeah, or is that what it's called? Yeah, if you've ever seen World War Z, I'm talking about where all the zombies sort of stack up on top of each other, get over walls. These guys can kind of do that. Um, they can wait around corners for you. That's the biggest part. That's what feels intuitive about them a lot of the times, right? But also they can be damaged in numerous ways, right? They have a little torso, and you could just shoot them in the torso enough times, and eventually they'll die. They have their head, like I mentioned. If you hit that once, instant headshot, instantly kills them. For some reason, it seems to spawn two corpses sometimes, and that's a bit of a problem that I'll have to fix at a later date. But you could also shoot them in the legs if you were to like cripple them, right? Light up the legs, then they'll fall down, right? But you got to be careful when you do that, because if you do, right, now they're able to get into smaller space. It's kind of like if they were crouching down. So if you're hiding underneath something and you see some zombies, you gonna want to aim for some headshots. You know what I'm saying? Because if you hit them in the legs, now they'll fall down low enough to be able to come and eat your ass, and we don't want that, right? Um, we also have we also have a sentient brick wall. Right now, this guy did some fucking numbers on the shorts. Let me tell you what, this dude, my best short of all time, got over 900 views, and it's a sentient fucking brick wall. Think about that. Really think about that. Let that fester, let that ruminate in the mind for a little bit. But anyways, this sentient wall here is a cursed magical being. It's sentience endowed upon a vessel which should have never experienced sentience. And as a result, it is enraged. You'd be enraged too if you were a wall and you couldn't eat. You had no digestive tracts. You had no reproductive organs or any form of dopamine or happiness in your life. Which is like this guy. This is what this guy is like for real. That's what he be doing. And so he gets mad. He gets real fucking mad, and he's like, "God, I'm sick and I'm tired of the fucking bullshit. I'm done." And he decides he's just gonna fucking slam into the player. And so that's exactly what he does. And you can shoot at him and eventually do a little bit of damage, but he's fucking fast, so you really have to be careful there. You don't want to like overstep your capabilities too much. Their partner, you're gonna get smashed. Yeah, let me tell you, you're gonna get smashed if you keep playing. Um, and yeah, next up we can see here this enemy is called a glutton. Right? It is a demon. It's a demonoid from the 35th dimension who desires nothing more than to consume. Will go around, it'll eat food that it sees sitting there, and it'll eat you if it sees you sitting there. You don't want this guy coming to eat. He's got a big old tongue. He's gonna fuck you up. Okay, you understand, right? So, but this dude's pretty simple. He's pretty straightforward. He's a little beefy. He's a little chunky dude because he's like a demon. You can just be shot and killed, just like not like everything else. Actually, not everything can be shot and killed, but this dude can. That's for sure. That's a surefire way. You just point the gun at him, dump the clip, dump the clip. He'll probably die, and if he doesn't, then you're probably cooked. He's also fucking fast, so you really don't want to be in like close quarters with him. The ideal weapon to use against this sort of guy is probably like a grenade of some type. Grenades are pretty effective at dispatching high health enemies or patches and groups of enemies. So you got to be careful to not blow yourself up like how I've been doing. Um, Next up here we have the candle demon, and this guy personally, I really fuck with him. He's a revision on top. Oh fuck! I just almost ate the mic. I could taste the hair. Love that. Anyways, this guy, the candle demon, has been revised upon over and over and over again. Initially, it was a fire imp, and that was the guy. That's who he was, and he'd shoot this fireball that left a trail of fire. And it was super cool, right? But I made some changes. I made some visual overhauls because his old sprite was fucking atrocious. It was a placeholder sprite. But now he's a candle demon instead because I was like, that's way fucking cooler than a fire imp. He's a candle demon. And so when you shoot him enough and he dies, his candle goes out. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, that's kind of like for real. But he'll shoot fire at you just sort of the same as the other guy would. Although this time I've toned it down a little bit, and the reason that I have is because the fire system itself has also had numerous updates and upgrades, which I'll show you. So yeah, you can see fire it like spreads. Um, there's different materials will catch on fire in different intervals. Some things can catch on fire, like if you were to throw a barrel up in there, then now the barrel's going to catch on fire too, right? And that's crazy, right? But the point is, with this fire, though, it can also actually like burn you, and you'll catch on fire. And then the only way to get put out is to like run around or run in water or something, right? So yeah. So this fire imp dude, he shoots that fire at you, or not fire imp, this candle demon here shoots fire at you in that manner to burn the shit out of you. He used to have a trail of fire, but that was pretty fucking. It was very powerful, and it was very hard and annoying to fight against. So I nerfed him a little bit. I might unnerf him if I find that he's a little bit too weak, but he's still pretty dead on. If you sit too still, then he'll definitely ignite your ass, which nobody wants. So yeah, and you, sir, do you have any words?
I'd like to say all hail the fire is done, and such old yes men need to go back underground where they fucking belong.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking racist. We don't want to associate with him here on the channel. Next up we have this guy, this group of characters here who I refer to as Bolises. Like one would be a Bolis, multiple would be like maybe bolus. I don't know, but a bolus. If you've ever seen, it's like a ball, Bolus. That's what these guys are. And I'm gonna make different ones have different features because I feel like that would be kind of interesting. But as of right now, there's one type of bolus, and this dude, he starts off real small, right? And you see him off in the distance. You're like, oh, look, it's a little ball with a face. Hey, yeah, it's cute, right? But he starts coming towards you, right? And the thing is with this guy, as he accelerates, he kind of gets big, right? And when he does that, he now becomes able to crush you to death, to death, and to crush other things to death as well. And he gets faster too. He's a very powerful opponent, if you're not paying attention. And you definitely don't want to be stuck in close proximity with this guy. He's able to get through like smaller entryways and vents and doorways and shit. Because whenever he's slow, he's tiny, and whenever he's fast, he's fucking big. So you really don't want him like sneaking into your house. It would be bad. It would be very, very bad. But yeah, next up here we have a little cloud. We have an eye cloud, you could say. He's got eyes. And this dude is pretty simple. He's pretty straightforward actually. He's got two eyes. Um, and he can shoot lightning bolts at you. And he does that, and then they hit you, and they fucking shock you, explode and shit. And if you shoot the two eyes, then he dies. And because he's a cloud, you can't shoot a cloud. You got to shoot the eyeballs. Those are the magic parts. Everybody knows that. Every single fucking boss battle, you got to shoot the eyes because the eyes are the magical part of the boss. Obviously. So that's what this guy is. He's kind of yeah, he's a little fun. He's a little dude. But this dude you're not gonna really see as much in the desert scene as much so as you will in the forest scene. There's like a fantasy forest that's gonna come with the full game world, and it's not gonna be in the demo, but it's gonna be in the full game. And this dude makes an appearance in that forest quite often, right? He's more magical. That's a more magical environment, so it only really makes sense. Next up, though, this guy you will be seeing in the desert, and he's a pain in the fucking ass. We have a tank bot, right? And this tank bot is a an opponent that is a tank, and you can shoot rockets at you. Um, and they're homing. I don't know if I need to say much more. He's a pain to deal with, and he's fast, and he can kind of like jump. He can like I was playing around with him, and I keep getting jumped by him every time I go to like test out the demo scene. I'll be walking around the level, being all like, "Oh yeah, does this make for good gameplay? Is this engaging to interact with? Is this environment piece here engaging? Oh look, a fucking tank bot runs up and decides to blow me up." Right, and he flies up a fucking hill. Right, does a little backflip in the air or some shit. Right, whatever. That's this dude. That's a tank bot. He's one of numerous robots that are in the desert. The desert is the home of the robots. If you were a robot, you'd live in the desert too, and so that's what these guys do. They were manufactured by the intelligence and distributed to kill people. Right? That's its whole purpose. And yeah, the intelligence is the robot AI hive mind that lives in the desert and operates out of the desert. Yeah, yeah. There's also a bunch of new there's furniture now. We have chests now of different types, and these different types of chests will provide different types of loot. Whether that be guns or supplies or crafting materials or whatever you may need, right? But then we also have shelves, and shelves are going to be your main supply point, right? On a shelf, you'll tend to find consumable items like flares, grenades, food, water. Well, maybe not water because I gotta charge you for the water, but you know, all sorts of shit like that. But if you wanted something to drink per se, you just go to a vending machine, one of the numerous vending machines around the wasteland here, and you could purchase a drink for money because capitalism. Um, so yeah, you can get supplies from these supply shelves. You can get your drinks from the vending machine. You can get your loot from the chests. Um, and yeah, I think that's gonna be fun. And then there's also all this like furniture and shit that you can destroy. I just spent yesterday doing that, making it destructible because it wasn't destructible at first, but I was like, well, I like being able to shoot at shit and have it break, so I made it destructible. I was like, yeah, let's just do that for real. It's gonna be fire. But there's also some new firearms, some new weaponry here. Uh we have this one. Ooh, we have this one. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. This one is called the ejaculator. The ejaculator is a small SMG type weapon, and I actually do need to make some modifications to it because it's not in its final form yet. The ejaculator, as you can see, has a little nozzle underneath the barrel, and this nozzle is for shooting fire. Right? If you ever seen the Half-Life 2 beta footage, there's like these cremator guys, and I imagine this is the sort of weapon that they would tend to carry around. So guns, you can oppress the civilians, but you can also go through and ignite their corpses to clean up the streets, right? And so that's sort of what this gun is supposed to represent, although it doesn't shoot fire yet, unfortunately. So we still got to work on that. But there's some other less meaningful weapons. We have some SMGs. I believe we have a grease gun. We have a MP4. We have what is the other one? We have a Thompson. We also have some pistols too. We have some like smaller firearms. We've got like a little cattleman revolver, although it's not a cattleman. It's a cattle smasher revolver, right? Because of copyright, we need original names here. We have um we have a couple of 1911 modeled firearms. Called there's I think one of them's called the Patriot. The other one is called I don't remember off the top of my head. There's another revolver. There's some other shit. I don't know. I just fucking go through. I probably won't do this part on the green screen because I kind of need to see the weapons to like remember all of them for real. But that's just the guns. There's also melee weapons, right? And melee weapons are more in development as of right now because there's some fine tuning that I still want to do in regards to how they work gameplay wise. But there's going to be a whole host of melee weapons. Maybe I'll show you guys the model files as of right now to see all the different ones that I'm making because there's going to be a bunch, right? And then also weapons will be able to be enchanted. I don't know if I'm gonna put that part in the demo because I kind of want that to be in the full version. Because that seems like something that people would pay for. Maybe the ability to like enchant stuff adds whole new layer of gameplay to shit, right? It's like because there's going to be that, and then there's also going to be weapon attachment. So, like, let's say you find a pistol or a revolver or whatever, I'm actually going to let you put a scope on there. I'm going to let you put a suppressor on there, even though it's a revolver, even though no other game does that, right? I'm going to let you put a scope and a suppressor on there. But then you can also go even further and enchant that weapon. Now, it's not just a revolver, it's a revolver that shoots fucking dragons. It's a revolver that can transform people into toast. It's a revolver that can do, non-revolver shit, right? Same thing's going to apply to melee weapons. But real quick, let me just go over how melee weapons works. That way, you can get a feel for the physicality of it all. We already talked about how guns work and you have to physically aim them and shit. Swords are relatively similar, right? There's your primary melee attack, which will slice up anything it hits, right? Which makes it a pretty effective weapon to use against, things with one tappable heads, right? But the secondary button, the right mouse click, if you were to hold that down, that performs a block. Now, again, this needs actual tweaking within the code, but I think I've figured out exactly how I'd like it to work. There's just some minor adjustments that need to be made. But basically, when you hold right click, it's going to block, and it's going to physically hold up your sword, and that'll determine whether or not you get the block. Kind of like Slasher's Keep. If you've ever played that game, sort of something like that. In the sense that yeah, you can block, you can hold up stuff, and then it prevents damage and stuff. But I have to make it so that enemies can eventually break that block, so that way you can't just block the entire time and go like that. But this gives a sort of interesting trade off between melee weapons and ranged weapons. Ranged weapons might be highly effective against crowds or against you know ranged enemies, but if something's up close, a ranged weapon can't block. If you're getting jumped by zombies, you need to use something that you can block with. You know what I'm saying, right? And then also with when the enchantments come along a little bit later, there will be some blocking specific perks, so that way you can use the block, and it maybe also triggers a shield, or maybe also triggers a fucking fire explosion around you, or whatever, right? Because I feel like that would be pretty fun. I think that would be pretty cool, and I want to see it in the game, so I'm gonna just put it in the game because that's kind of how it works. It's kind of how it works. Hopefully, I didn't just fuck the whole thing by doing that. I just bumped into my green screen. I hope I was actually on screen for the majority of that as well. But let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you enjoyed the new style of editing. I was trying to make it a bit more interesting than me yapping over unedited OBS footage. Um, and yeah, I just wanted to put a little bit more creative effort into my work, and now you get that. And now you get that. Um, I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay safe out in these streets. It be getting dangerous. There's fucking tank bots. There's like boluses and shit. You really have to be careful. You gotta stay strapped. I don't got it on me right now, but you gotta stay strapped up in these streets for real. You don't want to be walking around these nefarious fellows, and Lord knows what'll happen at that point. But be safe out there, people. I love you. Have a lovely and amazing day.